Hello everyone, and welcome to the video boss fight guide for Skyva, the fourth boss in the Gods from the Machine operation in story mode. This fight is really straightforward in story mode, so let's get into it. Phase 1, you're going to be DPSing the Omega Protocol droid. There's not a whole lot to the droid. You want to hold it in the middle so that these laser beams you see there are crisscrossing the center. DPS the droid. Ads will come in periodically. There's no real mechanic for them in story mode. Just kill them. The AoEs. There are two casts. You see here Accelerated Destruction is one of them. Is a channeled attack that builds stacks and does damage to the target, typically the tank. You want to interrupt that as much as possible. As you see here, it does a fair bit of damage. Isn't a guaranteed kill. It's also Explosive Force, which if you don't interrupt there, you see we took some group AoE damage. Otherwise, just kill the droid. You're through phase 1. Second phase, also very straightforward. You're just DPSing these two rail guns. You always want to start on the one that's northeast on your map. It's to your left as you enter the room. It will target people with a cast attack that doesn't do a ton of damage in story mode. And you're going to kill that one. Then once it's dead, you're going to go to the other side and kill another rail turret. Depending on your DPS, it's possible that Skyva could go ahead and spawn in phase 3 before you finish this, but most groups will get both of them down. The key is killing this one. There's a lot of other stuff going on in this phase you really don't have to worry about. So you'll notice there's energy beams being channeled into that middle core from the sides. Don't have to worry about that. That's a hard mode mechanic. There are also these little canisters spawning. You see one there. Those are actually bombs that'll explode, but they're not a wipe mechanic in story mode. So again, it's really just going to ignore virtually all the mechanics and just burn the railguns. Once you kill them, or based on a timer, the Skyva may go ahead and spawn. Probably will get them down with most group DPS. So after you do that, you have a little bit of downtime. And then we're going to prepare for Skyva. Now the key to Skyva really is just positioning. There's a fair bit of stuff going on you need to watch out for. So we'll point these out and we'll probably run through this cycle a few times. The key takeaway though for anybody new to this fight is going to be watching for and handling Extinction Protocol. Most of the other mechanics you can heal through or tank through or ignore. So first things first, the boss is going to come down. You'll notice you get a temporary ability. That's a gravity mechanic. You don't need to use in story mode, so you can kind of ignore it. Now you'll notice there's 3 blue orbs. The tank, hopefully, or whoever has aggro, is going to be kiting a conal to clip those orbs. Every orb that gets clipped once turns purple. If you clip one while it's purple, it explodes. So try to just clip blue ones. There's Radiance is that cast you saw that turned one purple. So you don't want to stand in the purple orbs. They do damage. You can stand in the blue ones. There's Deconstruct, as you see here being channeled as a cast attack on the boss, or on the tank. There's purple on the floor you need to watch out for, so usually most people will want to shift between the inner ring and the outer ring you see here. DPS healers generally want to be on the right side, as we're facing the boss now on the right, tank on the left. There's also going to be an Atomic Scattering cast that does some AoE damage. Again, just to kind of heal through it. That's most of the main mechanics you're going to see. It's a very straightforward fight. Very straightforward burn for the most part, since most of those mechanics you don't really have to do perfectly and can heal through fairly easily until you get to about 30%. Starting at 30%, you can get Extinction Protocol. So there's Upheaval, by the way, which is just a knockup mechanic. There's this other cast that may happen, Ignite Core, where it's just you're basically burning the boss to interrupt it. It's very easy. And once you get to 30%, or based on a timer, so as soon as you pull the boss in phase 3, you start a timer. Depending on how quickly you DPS the boss, you may not see extinction at all. So in this, it's often as not I don't see extinction running it now. Its DPS is typically very high in 6.0, but you may see it. It will not trigger before 30%. So depending on your DPS, it could be any time starting at 30% or from then on until you get a kill. And the first time it happens, you'll see a cast for it, initializing Extinction Protocol. If that happens, that's how you know to get ready. What Extinction Protocol is going to do is it's going to target random players with a red AoE that after about 2 seconds will deal extremely high damage. It pretty much is a one-shot. if you get clipped by it. So mostly this entire op is really a tank and spank, except for that. So here's the initialize. So we're going to see red circles. So during this phase, you just want to get people on the move. Stay on the move. Doing damage is cool, but you don't really have to worry about doing damage. It's 10 seconds. So you keep on the move until the cast is gone, and now you can just resume damaging the boss. Boss may heal for a little bit. Just burn through it. You may get extinction again depending on your group's DPS. If you get extinction triggering at almost exactly 30%, you probably will see it a second time. Otherwise, depending on your group DPS, you may not. If your DPS is really, really high, you can actually skip extinction altogether, which is kind of cool. And so here we get extinction again, but we don't get a warning. So we're just on the move, trying to be on the move here. And it's really easy to get clipped. It's really easy for other people to clip you with it if they're moving close to you. And then you get the kill. So let's see this maybe one or two more times from another perspective. Okay, so now we're getting ready to pick up phase 3, and there's a different group. And from the point of view of a tank, don't mind the health bar bug, which is rather weird. But anyway, here we go. And so we're going into the fight. This is from the tank's perspective, so I'm going to stay on the left side as you enter the room. There's atomic scattering. It is possible to cheese that mechanic if you hit the gravity device and you're on the left side of the room, so the same side as the tanks, and you hit your gravity device with about a second left on that cast. You will punt those people up in the air like that, and then you dodge the damage, but it's not a big deal in story mode. You can see I'm kiting the radiance conal to clip the blue orbs. That way, if I clip a purple orb, they explode. So they will turn back to blue periodically as you watch this phase. Upheaval and being targeted, just all the basic mechanics. These are relatively easy. The only other thing to note, if you're a tank, if you do lose aggro, taunting Skyva can be really, really tricky. So I usually try to do is wait until she finishes casting or channeling, whatever she's doing, and then throw a taunt at her. Otherwise it can't, sometimes the taunts won't register if it's in the middle of an ability. So here's Extinction Protocol again, and again you're just going to stay on the move. Stay on the move. You'll notice there's this blue shield. Depending on the timing for your fight, it's possible that that shield's now down. So if the shield's down and extinction goes out, you can actually spread out a little further and run outside of that inner area. Just be careful, because if you try to pass through that, it can kill you. That's really it. Extinction Protocol is really the name of the game. It's really honestly a pain. So anyone that hasn't done it, just stay on the move is the key to success here. Okay, so one more time, just for good measure, this from the perspective of 16-man group. Again, this from the tank's perspective. So we've got 2 tanks staying on the left side. The right side's a little more grouped up, which can be a little dangerous for Extinction Protocol because you're in a lot of red circles in a small space. 16-man, it's honestly difficult to get through there without a few people being clipped, because there's just so many people in close proximity. It's tough, even if you can dodge your red circles, it's tough not to accidentally step into somebody else's blue circle. So what I suggest for 16-man is once you get to 35-ish%, try to tell your group to spread out a little bit. It's not a huge deal if people are on the tank side of the room, especially in 16-man. You don't want to be there for long because the gravity mechanics will basically may slow down your global cooldown and mess with you in a ways. But when you know extinction is about to happen, the more spread out you are, the better. It can also be helpful to try to tell your team to move in the same direction so people aren't going crossways, so either go clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever. The better coordinated you are, the better your chances for success, although for the most part, if you just get most of your group through, it's going to be okay. So here's Extinction again. We have no shield, so people can run outside of that inner area if you need to, and we're just looking to dodge red circles. A few people get clipped. Honestly, it's just exceptionally difficult in 16-man not to clip a few. So we had just a couple is actually really, really good. And then we're just going to burn her and get the kill. So again, really straightforward, fairly easy boss except for this one extinction mechanic. So this is really quick. Hope this is helpful. Thanks very much. Good luck in Gods. It's a really, really fun op. And best of luck. And thanks for watching. Bye.